MMA show, baby. This is Brothers in Combat with Serg Vicente and Darnell Giovanni. No need to fight. Just listen up and get it right. Brothers in Combat, baby. We rollin'! Yeah! All night long. Boom.
Yo! What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Brothers in Combat, not your average podcast, not your average MMA podcast. You are joined by the dynamic duo, Serg Vicente from the Fight Podcast and Brothers in Combat, and I'm talking to the mystic one, the other brother in combat. Right there he is, Darnell Giovanni. Brother Darnell, what it do?
What up, Serge? We are back in a place to be another week. More things to talk about, always things to talk about. And of course, I am very happy to be here live from the 305 down here in sunny and very hot South Florida.
There we go. There you go. You know what's messed up? I am fresh to LA, so when you say the 305, I'm like, okay, that's the area code. I generally don't know what the area codes are here in LA. Have no idea. I'm from Chicago. 312. I'm from the 312, guys. I'm from the 773. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the hell is out here, but I can tell you the zip code.
There's so many of them there, man. You get into one different county and boom, you have another area code. But from like Miami's so huge, man. The whole entire thing is just 305 or 786 because that's your cell phone number. But that's a whole different other story.
That's it, man. Well, look, love them wherever you are in the country. As you see, we're out here coast to coast with it. This is how we get down here in Brothers in Combat. But we have so much to get to today. And on today's menu, what we're going to go ahead and talk about, we're going to talk about UFC Vegas 25. Have to go back out to talk about that. We're going to talk about some Twitter beef. Cats has been out here feeling like real Twitter thugs recently. We're going to go ahead and discuss that. Bellator's back. We'll discuss Bellator, a touch of PFL, and all the fight news for you guys. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the show. Brother,
okay, poppin'.
You've been doing well, man. How's everything going this week, though, man? Hey, real quick, let's start off. I'm seeing the hat. We saw the pics on IG, man. How was your weekend, brother? It seems like you was out there kicking it with the squad.
Just want to give a big shout out to Makikawa, Antonio Santiago, Peter, all the people that I've met and been talking to for a little bit. Appreciate you guys. I had a really good time at the first round management barbershop that they opened. And if you gotta know somebody to even walk into that place. But congrats to Juice down there. You deserve it. Working hard for a long time, and congrats to everybody for keep progressing down there. I had a good time, Saw Yoel. I told him I love you. I love you. I saw Jorge, of course, the most chillest dude, and Paige, Austin, a bunch of people were down there. Shout out to Alex Caceres. I talked to him for like an hour, and man, I'm telling you, nobody has better wisdom and knowledge like that guy and how he lives his life. And that's why he's so relaxed. But big shout out to Caceres. We're going to talk.
I feel like he might have other reasons why he's so relaxed as well. Probably the same reasons why I'm so relaxed. But
I can't confirm or deny.
but we got beef though, bro. We got beef.
Tell me.
Me and you, we got beef because you're supposed to FaceTime me when we in these conversations. I'm supposed to be right there with you. Look, this is Brothers in Combat. We come this is right here.
I was trembling with my phone in my hand anytime. I was scared. Can I even take a picture around here around all these people that have been watching on the TV for such a long time? I didn't want to get punched. I know I got a big chin, but I don't know. I might be wobbly leg if one of them, this hits me with one of them. So better clear, better safe than sorry.
All jokes aside, man, much love to everything that you're doing. If you guys haven't had an opportunity, check him out on Mystic Black. He has some amazing interviews this week. He's had Kayla Harrison on this week. Last week, Fabricio Verdun. Brother, what else do you got coming up on Mystic Black?
We got finally the Megan O'Leary interview is coming up soon. I know how to reschedule that. I got a little under the weather, but we're doing that one. We got Miguel Torres coming up as well.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna do another one with Alex Caceres. We got a lot of interviews coming. I'm gonna get back into the interview game heavier than ever before, and the platform is gonna be wonderful. So we'll talk about that soon when I got more of that news for you. But
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Happy for you,
let's
bro.
get
It's awesome.
appreciate.
Let's
I
get
appreciate
into it. So
it.
this past weekend, we had a UFC Vegas 25 headlined by the samurai, JIRI Prochazka. And he went out there against the former title challenger in Dominic Reyes. And this fight, people, I'm telling you, if you haven't had an opportunity to see it, first and foremost, the fight was a barn burner. But it finished in the most violent of fashion. 4 minutes and 29 seconds into the second round, JIRI goes out there and throws literally a delayed timing spinning back elbow, catches Dominic Reyes directly in the grill, knocks him out cold. Bro, what are your thoughts on the fight? What were your thoughts when you actually saw the knockout?
Before this fight happened, all I can think about in my mind is this is going to be a barn burner of a fight because of a lot of different factors.
Absolutely.
Dominic Reyes, 2-fight losing streak. He still had the John Jones thing on his mind. He had that title loss that he had, and he had a lot to prove here in this fight. JIRI, on the other hand, newcomer to the UFC, but is progressing very fast in that division, especially now in the top 3 of the division. He moves up after that knockout. But he had a lot to prove too, because it's just like, okay, you got a good knockout last time, but let's see if you can do this against somebody who hits very hard and pretty much, to some people, has defeated one of the best fighters of all time in John Jones. So he had that pressure as well, thinking about that. But the main thing that I thought about is Dominic Reyes gonna be able to keep up with this pace that JIRI brings? He has a pace that is just unstoppable in the sense that he is always in your face. Dominic Reyes caught him a couple times in that fight, had him hurt to the point where he had him in a guillotine. JIRI was so relaxed and calm in that situation, and that shows you so much to what kind of fighter that he is and the mentality that he now has. JIRI has not lost since 2015, and the last person to defeat him was King Mo Lawal. Shout out to King Mo, the legend.
King Mo.
2015, that was the risen heavyweight Grand Prix, or light heavyweight Grand Prix. I forget which one it was, but he came back, he beat King Mo, and then he's been on the streak ever since. Came into the UFC, boom, makes that big splash, and then comes in and takes out Dominic Reyes in beautiful fashion with a spinning elbow. As Dom was moving, you can tell he was getting tired. He was exhausted. He was exhausted from that pace. And remember, Dominic Reyes has fought some really tough competitors in his past, and I've never seen him that exhausted. That shows you that JIRI, that pace that he gives you is going to be a problem for anybody else that he fights going forward.
That's true, man. And I honestly, I couldn't have said it better myself. His pacing and the pace that he put on him, even though he was getting caught with shots. And here's the thing, that dude he had a ponytail on, but my man's got a beard on him because he was taking some shots. And it was an entertaining fight. And yes, Dom Reyes was getting tired, but salute to Dom because he never gave up. He was getting hit hard. He was getting hurt. Gave up. Yep. Dude, but he kept coming forward. He does have that heart of a champion. He kept coming forward, and even it might have even been to his detriment. But in terms of JIRI, one thing I love what he's done is that he's gone out there and actually said, and look at his record. He's 28-3, 28-3. And he's somebody who only 28 years old. And think about it, for MMA, that's a shit ton of fights. He, like he said, was at Risen. He's been in other organizations. And what he wanted to do was take his time. And I really wish that more individuals did this. Take his time until he was actually ready to compete at the very top. And that's what he's done. Now he's at the top. And in my opinion, he is right in line. I'm not going to say he's next for a title shot, but I tell you for sure shit, he's right there. Let's get into, before we get into does he deserve a title shot or anything else like that, let me ask you this. In watching the fight, what were your biggest takeaways from the matchup itself?
Biggest takeaways was I feel that he has made that light heavyweight division more exciting again. Because everybody was watching fights like Thiago Santos and Rakic. That wasn't an exciting fight. And then, honestly, the Blachowicz and Adesanya, that fight wasn't that exciting either. So everybody's looking at this division and kind of were just like, oh, well, I don't really care for this division at all anymore. Now you got a guy like JIRI coming in there, and anytime he steps in that cage, it's going to be a fun fight. And he's proved it 2 times. Man is willing to put a lot on the line to give that excitement with the hair and everything. They probably thought it was a joke, but that was no joke. That was no joke. As you can see, he used that elbow and that hair that he did. That's that Muay Thai. He was giving. He was
getting him. I love it. I love what you're saying. But here's my concern, and I want to ask you this. And you know what? Let's go ahead and transition to the next question, actually, because it kind of goes into that. After seeing what we saw, do you believe that JIRI actually deserves a title shot? Because you heard Dana White after the fact say that he said, "Hey, after Glover and Jan get after it, he's next in line." Does he deserve the next shot, and should he wait it out?
He just made $100,000 off this fight for performance
KO
of the night
and performance of the night, yes,
and fight of the night, both together. If I'm him and I just come off a barn burner of a fight like that, I'm going to take my money. I'm going to relax and count it and see what I can do and kind of make a different life for myself, because now he's making the big money. He wasn't making that in Risen. He's making the big money now. So now you get to kind of plan out your life to make sure you set yourself up for future success. That's what I would do right now. You does not need to jump into any kind of fight. He can if he wants to. The Rakic fight is there, but
that's what I was gonna say. That for me. Go ahead. Yeah.
He doesn't need to do it, and now he's ranked higher than Rakic. So why is he gonna fight backwards to do that? I personally enjoy the rest of the year, and then unfortunately, the hard part is that Glover and Blachowicz is not until September. But
is he actually ranked higher than Rakic right now?
I'm pretty sure they moved him up to 2. No, I mean let's double. Let's make sure.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we ain't out of here.
He is
right now.
Yeah, he's ranked number 2. Rakic is 3. Yuri moved up to 2. Okay. So he's at number 2. So he doesn't even have to fight backwards now anymore. So, but the good part is Glover Teixeira or Blachowicz are guys who like to stay active. I know we haven't seen Blachowicz in a while, but that's because, well, not in a while. He just fought.
Oh, you just saw him.
He said he wants to take a little bit of time because he just had a child. But now he's going to kind of, he's used to that now, and now he's going to be as active as he can. So I think either one of those guys are going to be active, and they can fight in December or January. You got time to do that, and Yuri has more time to improve the game. Do you think that he should wait? Would you wait?
Would I wait? No, I would.
Plus the other money that he's made.
yeah. Honestly, if I'm him, you know what? You wait. I want to say no. But when Dana White gives you his blessing and he says, "Hey, he's next," you take the foot off the gas. You collect it. You see how everything holds up. We know when the title fight's coming, that means he has an opportunity to kind of chill and get himself going. But I want to ask you about this, because this I've been thinking about this. When we look at the fights, whether it be Glover, whether it be I think that JIRI is a terrible stylistic matchup for Glover Teixeira. I do, because of his unpredictability and what he comes in. He's tough as nails. But I want to ask you about the champion Jan Blachowicz, and I don't want to, by any stretch of the imagination, look over Glover, because he's a monster. But one thing that I find very interesting, the more I think about this fight, we talk about pace with JIRI. What is Jan Blachowicz good at? Slowing the pace down and fighting at his pace. He gets hit, so not Jan. JIRI gets hit a lot. If he gets his pace slowed down, he starts getting cracked. I think that is a difficult fight for JIRI. Not saying he can't win. But at this moment in time, I actually picked the champion over him at this moment in time. But here's the awesome thing about that. And I want a lot of people thinking, because you made a great point and how amazing this weight class can now be. It's exciting because none of us, the last few years, we don't care about 205. We haven't cared about 205 since, let's be honest, since John Jones first won a title at 205. No one's really cared that much. But now, with what's happening with this, you have Rakic, who's young. You have JIRI, who's only 28 years old. And we're even getting young guys. Anthony Smith is only 32 years old. You know what I'm saying? We have guys, 205, as of right now, when you really look at it, because I've always said Bellator right now has a better 205 weight class. UFC's 205 weight class, light heavyweight, is very good as well right now. There's some fun up-and-coming guys in that weight class. JIRI is just the leader of the pack.
I think, and to what you said with the Blachowicz thing, I'm going to disagree. And I feel like JIRI's just his pace is going to be too overwhelming for Blachowicz, and he's going to get tired. He's not going to be like Adesanya where he's waiting for a shot, waiting to counter. No, he's going to be in your face
more technical.
At all times. Jiri is going to be at your face in all times. And another thing too with Blachowicz, I know everybody like to say Polish power, Polish power, Polish power. Before he had those 2 knockouts, he wasn't knocking anybody out. If we remember, decision monster Blachowicz. You know why? Because he fought some guys who weren't staying in a straight line right in front of you and easier to hit, like Corey Anderson was, and so was Dominic Reyes. These guys weren't moving around that much. They were staying right in his face. Jiri is going to stay in your face, but he's going to give you different moves, different what's the word I'm
different angles. He's cutting
different angles. Yeah, it's just very different to me. So me personally in that fight, I think Jiri can gas him out, tire him out, and possibly finish him. And as you can see, he's got power everywhere.
He does.
He's got power everywhere in those hands, from the kicks to the elbows to the punches.
Everywhere.
He's very strong.
Very strong. I guess my only concern with Jiri, and again, we can look at this, and I guess, like I said, he's ranked right now. Like I said, he's right at number 3 or 2.
Jiri's 2. He's number 2.
2. Do you feel like that's the right place to rank Jiri at this point in time?
100%. You beat a guy who just fought for the title, you deserve that ranking as well. Rakic has not done that yet. Until he can do that, then I'll put him over there. And we're going performance based. He's knocked out 2 guys who rarely get knocked out in that division. So I'm gonna give that to Jiri. Rakic, when's the last time he had a finish? I think Jimmy Manuwa. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But that's still a fight. Yeah, that's still a fight that I would like to see, because I really like both of those guys. And I think stylistically it'll be an amazing fight. Okay, let's talk about the back half of the loser, essentially, in this main event. Yeah. Dom Reyes. Dom Reyes started off his career 12-0. Stormed into a championship fight with John Jones. Most of us believe he won that fight. But then he turns around, he takes the L to John Jones, he gets knocked out by Blachowicz just violently, and he gets knocked out violently again. Dude, what's next for Dom?
My thing is, and if I was in Dom Reyes' position, I think Dom Reyes is a very good fighter. If that was anybody else, he probably would have got him out of there, because what he was throwing was vicious. He was throwing a lot of vicious strikes from the body shots to his left hand, of
right
course.
Hands.
Clean. That would have took out a lot of other people. I don't think Dominic Reyes looked back, honestly, coming off that fight. I just personally, if I was Dominic Reyes, would have taken more time until I can completely get over a lot of things that has happened since that loss to John Jones. Number 1, get past the John Jones loss, because I don't think he's over that. He kept talking about it in the press conference. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing is still in your... I beat him. I know I beat him. He's still not over that. He's got to get over that.
Has to.
And then I know he changed camps after that last fight as well. That's another thing too. Find your balance there to see exactly where you want to be, and training partner wise too. That's very important. Maybe not for everybody, because there's some guys who can spar with nobodies and still be really good. But when it comes to divisions like that, your heavier weights, you have to have the right sparring partners. That's another thing that has to change as well. And number 3, I know he had an issue with his dad, I believe, who had COVID. That was another thing too that was very mentally draining as well. I know these guys have to make money. I know they have to do their thing. But until you're good here, I don't think you'll be good in there. And I feel like that can affect him as well. But I love the response he had on his, I think he tweeted or Instagram, that it's just like, hey, I go in there, I put my heart on the line. I did everything I could to try to win that fight. Unfortunately, I didn't come out of it the right way. So if he has that mindset coming out of this fight, I think Dom is going to be okay. I don't think his worst looking fight was the Blachowicz fight. Before that, he didn't really have any bad performances, to be completely honest.
He did.
Yeah. But that's what I think next for Dominic Reyes is to take a little bit of a break, recollect yourself, recover, because he got completely knocked out, and then maybe come back
at least 6 months.
At least come take the year off, and I would come back next year and come back with a different kind of vengeance. What do you think? What do you think Dominic Reyes needs to do to get past that John Jones loss? Because clearly he's not over.
Go to therapy?
Ooh.
I mean, to be honest with you, he's at the point. I think he's one of those people. Shout out to our boys over at Mindlock MMA, or Mindlock, should I say? That are fantastic mental coaches in the game. I think he's at a point in time that he might, like, not even joking around, like therapy for this shit.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things that he is dwelling on the past, something that he can't. It's over. It's over. It's almost been 2 years. You know, and at this point in time, it's hindering his development. You can tell he's overthinking things. He went out there, he completely changed his body type. He looked like Michael Phelps out there, not Dom Reyes. Dom Reyes used to go out there and look like a jacked football player. He looked like a swimmer. So you can tell mentally he's all over the place. He's searching for answers. He needs a mental coach. That's what he needs. He needs somebody that can exactly, that can get him back on track, to let him understand and, you know, find whatever that killer was that got him there. Because that's the thing. I really believe that he was invincible before John Jones. 12-0, knocking everybody out. Invincible. And he believed it. The Jan Blachowicz fight gave him doubts. This one might give him a couple more. Look, let me read real quick. And like you said, he did what he said was awesome, but I have to read it for you guys. Finally home, surrounded by those who I love, and I like to say I went out there and focused with all of my heart. I put it all out there, and I'm glad it was entertaining for most of you. I'm happy and upset, as you can imagine, as I didn't get the desired outcome. But I went out and fought, and for that I can say I'm proud, which he did. I'll say that. I love this game, and at times it doesn't love me back. But that's what we have. This is what we all signed up for. I want to say I'm doing good, healing up, and I'll be okay. And congrats to JIRI for a hell of a fight. And what an elbow. It's one that you don't see coming that get you. God bless, blah, 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 blah. Hearing that, do you have any thoughts on his mental state after the fight?
It sounds good. But we'll really see what happens when he comes back in the cage. You can say.
How do you feel about the game doesn't love me back? Because to me, that's damn near a red flag.
The game doesn't love me back. That sounds like a fighter who's depressed, in a sense of like, damn man, I put so much hard work in this, and then that's what happens to me. I don't know what kind of that is kind of a red flag to me too, to hear that. But I'm not surprised to hear that, because he just took a devastating loss, man. That's his third one in a row.
Yeah, it's bad. I hope he comes back. Who do you think he should fight next?
He's got a lot of different people who he can fight next. If he wants a name, Anthony Johnson. If he wants to stay in the rankings.
Anthony Johnson. Are you talking about Anthony
Smith?
Smith?
Anthony Smith.
He definitely don't want Rumble. I'll tell you that right now.
No. If he wants a name, Anthony Smith. If he wants to stay in that high ranking, you can fight Rakic if you want. You know, if you want to come back that fast, they're not gonna give him anybody super low. But I say fight a name. He could still main event a card, or if he doesn't want to do the main event thing, kind of be lower on a card to kind of get yourself back into there and not have the pressures of main eventing a card, or even core main eventing a card.
Shit. Thiago Santos.
Thiago Santos is there too, but like
Ankalaev.
What kind of fight he wants to have? Ankalaev has got some people he's got to fight before he gets up there. I think he's really good, but
but think about this though. Ankalaev is at 7. Mm-hmm. We're talking about him fighting Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is at 6. So, I mean, don't get it twisted.
I said that for name value for Anthony Smith.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But in looking at him dropping 3 in a row like he does, I think, and now you know how the UFC works. They're not going to give this to him, but he needs an Ozdemir right now. That's who he needs to fight. Who's ranked number 8 right now? He needs Volkan Ozdemir.
I think they fought already.
I think they did. I think he beat him. And that was a fight that, you know what? Actually, that was the one that was a suspect win. Yeah, you know what, though? That might be a great rematch. Run that one back. It can get him in a good headspace, and loser leaves town.
Where's Volkan now? What is he ranked? 10? 11?
8.
Oh, he's still
That's what I'm saying. It's a good matchup.
Is Volkan losing too? Because I don't remember. I feel like Volkan hasn't won in a long time.
I'll tell you right now. Here, I'm pulling them up. See this, guys. You don't get this in other places. Brothers in Combat. we look up stats on the spot for y'all.
We don't just say it up.
So check it out.
We do know stuff on top of our head, but we're gonna give you the.
We do know most of the shit. So he's only on a 1-fight losing streak. Last year is when he lost to JIRI. No shame in that, obviously. But before that, he beat Rakic and he beat Latifi. That's the fight. That's a good fight to make.
That would be good. Rematch.
That's a good fight to make.
That was a split decision. I think they do that. That'd be a good rematch, and you can see where they both are. That could be almost a loser leaves town at that point.
That's what I said. Loser leaves town.
Yeah.
Loser leaves town. You know,
like that.
I think that'll be the one. That's the one. That's the one to make. Sean Shelby, get at us. We doing this.
We're here for you, brother. I'll DM you. I'll tell you, hey, you need a little matchmaking. I'll give you a whole thing. The whole little thing, like a little light heavyweight tournament or something like that.
Dog, let me ask you this. And I know the UFC ain't about that life. How dope would it be if the UFC did tournaments like that?
It would be so cool, but they will never do it because you know how the white rules.
They ain't playing.
I'm not doing that. No, this is not how we run our business. We do it this way. Blah blah blah. I get it. And then when they try to do their fake tournaments, like to where they put like 4 lightweights on top of a card, they still don't even fight. And look, we're getting Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira. I'm super excited, but there was no tournament going on there. It kind of got jumbled everywhere. But I would like it. I think it would be super cool. But at some point, we got to let Bellator do what they do. And I love getting 3 different kinds of things. We got PFL with the season. We got Bellator with the tournament. And UFC with whatever kind of matchmaking that they do. So yeah, and shout out to the PFL. They're doing a great job right now with this this season style to where somebody can lose their first fight, but they can come back. Like Anthony
Pettis ain't done.
He's not done. He'll be back in 1 month, and it keeps these guys active and in shape.
I love it. I love it. I think it's great. I think if I was a current fighter that didn't have huge name recognition, like I was an up-and-coming dude, I'd be looking at the PFL. I get ESPN. I get the eyes of ESPN. And if I win the tournament, I get $1 million. And think about it. I'm making more than that throughout the year. So you're going to end up coming out of the year, if you win it, making 1.5, maybe even 2 million, depending on who you are.
And you know what I mean? A lot of incentives. It's not a bad idea.
Dude, it's not a bad idea. If I'm an up-and-coming dude, I'm going, not even up-and-coming, like even with those grizzled vets like an Anthony Pettis that might be a step behind, dog, Verdum. PFL. my nigga, again, up-and-coming, one of my favorite dudes that has been on the show many times. And actually, you know what? I just realized you just interviewed him also, Mo Usman. Mo Usman's another one. Guy. Another great guy, up-and-coming dude. This is a perfect place to get name recognition, build your name, and go. Granted, we weren't supposed to be talking about the PFL, but we fight fans. We excited.
We talk about everything. We talk about everything, every organization out there, and it's to bring like that excitement back to the sport, not just UFC. I've seen a lot of things where people are just thinking that UFC is the only form of mixed martial arts that you can watch. There's so many organizations that are doing wonderful things, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yo, tell me, and again, I know people get bent out of shape when people talk about casuals, right? And I saw this one lady, and I don't know if you saw going around TikTok, and then they're calling her MMA's Karen. Have you seen this?
No, MMA's Karen. No, what she complains about stuff.
She goes on thing, and she's like, I'm an MMA fan. And she was like, if you don't want to hear an MMA rant about the MMA community, go forward, right? And she got like a gang of videos like just shitting on MMA. She said she's an MMA fan. She was like, so what if you don't like, she's like, so what if there's somebody who just started watching a year ago? Why are you calling them casual? Why can't people watch casually? And she's going off on these things. But here's the thing. This is why I talk shit about casuals. The sport is not called UFC. The sport is MMA. And the sport is mixed martial arts, and there's so many amazing organizations. So if someone is there, think about this. Anybody else, if you went to the NBA and you was talking about some Canadian basketball league, you talking about the big 3, and you was like, yeah, the big 3, right? You'd look like a jackass. Same thing. Get over it.
It's not
now,
the same.
She did say a thing about men being super toxic in MMA. That I agree with. That I agree with.
I got no comment. Hey,
she was right, bro. Yo, dog. Hey, look, you hear? I'll say it. Hella toxic masculinity in MMA right now, but hey, it is what it is.
Listen, shout out to the ladies that love MMA, not just UFC. Shout out to the ladies that love MMA,
the real fans.
Specifically the ladies that love MMA. 95491. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. Drop it on him.
All right, look, let's keep going with this card. Yeah, let's keep going with this card because we got so much to talk about still. Dude, Giga Chikadze, former Glory kickboxing monster, has been 8-0 in the UFC. He is back and he landed the Giga kick against Killer Cub Swanson. Bro, he's on an 8-fight win streak, fighting out of King's MMA out here in LA. How far can Giga go at 45?
He can go very far, especially in this fun division where it's of a lot of strikers. You know, everybody there, your Shane Burgos is, your who's very strong with his hands. Well, of course, you got your Calvin Pierce, you got your Matt Holloway. These guys.
You're he's starting to go in and out on us, my brother. Did he freeze? Did my brother freeze? He appears to have frozen for a second. We will get him back on the line very, very soon. So give us a second. We'll get that going. But this, what I'll say is this, while we get him going. In terms of Giga, he is somebody that, again, amazing kickboxer. And one thing about this weight class, which I really love, is that it's really, really dope. It's so exciting. And just like Darnell was just saying, we're talking about the striking matchups. One thing that I love what she did is this. After the fight, he went out there and called out Max Holloway. Now, is he going to get Max Holloway? Probably not, to be very honest with you. But that makes sense. You're calling up. And guess who he might get? He might get somebody like a Kelvin Cater. And being somebody that is this high level in striking, if he goes out there and he starts fighting these guys that are at the high level, I mean, he's going to really give him a lot of trouble. He's that good. His kicks, the speed in which he kicks, his technique, and one thing that you're starting to see from him is that you're seeing from a lot of the other great strikers who have transitioned to MMA is his takedown defense. He's fully turning into a well-rounded MMA fighter. We saw him get his loss at the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. Ever since then, he came back and just started doing absolute work, man. He started doing work, and being an 8-fight winning streak, and I'm telling you guys, being very honest with you, I don't care who you are. I don't care what weight class you are. If you have an 8-fight winning streak in the UFC, you are doing something right. And not only is he doing something right, he's doing something very, very right. Cub Swanson, guys, and that's one thing. We look at this, we see the fight, you see Cub Swanson. And a lot of us, it's really easy to sit there and think and say, you know what, yo, Cub is kind of washed. That's why he lost. No, not at all, man. And I'll be honest with you. Yes, he was finished in here. Let me bring it up. I got it written down. In 1 minute and 3 seconds of the very first round. But that kick that he got caught with would have done that to anybody. And also, if we go over here and look at it, if we look at his last couple of fights, here, I'm pulling it up for you guys right now. Cub Swanson, not only is he out here beating, so, you know, if you're one of those guys, he's one of those litmus test guys. I'm starting to look at him in the same way that we're looking at like a Derek Brunson, right? And I've said this a lot about Derek Brunson, even though Derek Brunson seems like he might be transitioning into somebody that can be a legitimate title contender at 85. But one of the things that I say about him is that he's a litmus test type of guy, which means that at the end of the day, if you're an up-and-comer, and you a lot of up-and-comers can't get past him here. I'm sorry, I'm just pulling all this up for you guys. So Killer Cub Swanson, who's currently he's ranked number 15, so he's still out there doing his thing. But look at this, he beat Pineda. Pineda is an up-and-coming prospect. He was a monster. He knocked him out cold in the second round. Also before that, he beat Crone Gracie. He's not fighting bums, people, and he's not looking slowed down either. So what Giga did was beat a guy who is, I'll be very honest with you, who is very good, who is very well-rounded, and he was able to get him out of there quickly with his patented Giga kick. So I love what I'm seeing from him. I think the dude is an absolute beast. And then if we look at, you know, the rest of, let's say, let's see. Let's look at the rest of 145 because 145. Obviously, I'm pulling up the rankings for you guys right now. We have the champion Max Holloway, Ortega, Yair, Korean Zombie, Kelvin Cater, Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, Dan Ige, Shane Burgos, and then at number 10, finally breaking the top 10, we got Giga. I'm telling you guys right now, I would love a fight against Giga versus a Josh Emmett. I would love a Giga fight against a Yair Rodriguez. I would love a Giga fight against who's ranked number 13 right now, but because of name recognition and the skill set, Edson Barbosa. Giga says he's the best striker at 145 pounds, and that's why he said he calls out Max Holloway. If that's the case, and if that's what he really truly believes, let's see him fight somebody like Edson Barbosa. He'll still move up in the rankings. He'll still do his thing. I love that potential matchup for him. So we'll see what ends up happening, but obviously there's so many moving parts when we're coming up to it, especially in that weight class. And think about this. Guys, he's ranked number 10. Did you hear that shit that I went through? In fact, I'm going to bring this brother on right now because you know what? He has some good opinions about this too. He knows what we're talking about. Let's go ahead and bring the legend, the man, the myth back on the show. Bro, welcome back. Is he back yet?
Guys, I apologize. This is live, but we back.
It's all good. It is all to the good, my brother. Like I said, you know how we get down, the show must go on, and we keep rocking.
We keep it rocking. We're good. We're good.
There?
But I was listening.
Okay.
On my phone trying to figure this stuff out. But we back. We back.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and I was just talking about that. I was talking about potential matchups for Giga and how this weight class stacks up, and 45 is really becoming just a badass weight class. I mean, literally everything from 170 down is like a Shark Tank. Potential matchups, he called out Max Holloway. He also said maybe even Kelvin Cater. I think Edson Barbosa is the perfect type of matchup coming up. What would you believe?
We back? We back over here,
We're
right?
back. We got you.
There we
Yep.
go. Here, right? There we go. Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys.
I already got you out the other way. It's all good. I got you.
Perfect. I think a good matchup for him would be Josh Emmett. I feel like it'd be very exciting because Josh Emmett is a guy who is he's got hands, he has power, he gives you different angles when he's striking. He's not standing right in front of you. I think that would be a great matchup for Josh Emmett, especially he's been on a layoff. He's been on a layoff for a little bit of a while, and if a Giga tries to throw that kick, Josh might grab that leg and put him on his ass. So that would be very, very interesting to see. I love that matchup. Giga's got a big name, even bigger name now, and that can help Josh big time. You know, beat somebody like that who just beat Cub Swanson, who's a legend in the sport. I like that matchup next. That or I like that. I'm gonna go with Josh Emmett.
No, I like it. I like Josh Emmett, especially like I said, and I pulled it up in terms of the rankings. It makes sense for him. He's ranked number 10. Josh Emmett is 6. Now, I don't know if Josh Emmett would take that fight because you know how it is. When you're already ranked down at number 6, you're looking up, right? Okay. But if we really look at it, dude, all these guys in front of him are kind of tied up aside from maybe a Kelvin Cater. So I don't know if he'll end up getting that, but there's still so many great matchups. I think I would love to see it. And I'll be honest with you. If that fight does come to fruition, I'm going with Giga. If it's between the two of them, just because I'm telling you, it's tough. Josh Emmett falls in love with his striking. If he gets in there and wants to wrestle, that's different. But if he falls in love with the striking, we're talking about a glory kickboxer. We're talking about a guy that made his bread and butter, has over 50 pro fights. Kickboxing, he's seeing all the angles, he's seeing all the steps, standing up in the middle of the cage. It might be so if he's able to wrestle and essentially do what Kamaru Usman did to Jorge Masvidal, right? Go out there, have a threat of the takedown, and then come over the top. If he's able to do that, a la Kamaru Usman, a la old school prime Frankie Edgar, he can win that fight. But if he goes out there to try to stand and bang, he gets chopped up like cheese.
I think Josh Emmett just has more ways to win. You know, if he gets into any kind of position to where he can't do something, he has a disadvantage, especially if it's striking. He can go to his wrestling. He can go to his grappling. So I don't know how Giga would fair there. We haven't seen him deal with somebody like that in his past, but I think that would be a best test to see where he can go and how he can progress his career.
Yeah, well, what's it called? So he's on a 2-fight winning streak right now. He beat, obviously, Bektik, knocked him out in the first round, which was a hell of a fight, hell of a round, huge KO. And then before that, he KO'd Michael Johnson, huge KO, stiff. Now, he does have coming up on January 20th, he's fighting against Shane Burgos. That's actually a pretty entertaining fight. I'm looking forward to it.
They had that one already. That was that fight, almost a fight of the year.
No. This is his next fight coming up. It's June.
That was June last year.
Hold up.
2020.
You're right.
Yeah.
Why don't they have his fight there? That's weird. Why they did that? Okay, never mind. My bad. UFC sent me off.
That's what Josh Emmett tore his ACL.
You're right.
And was fighting somehow 3 rounds and just, my God, man.
Yo, I'm here to see that fight run back. Maybe I'm just a fan. I would love to see that fight again. What a fight!
Wishful
thinking. All right, let's talk about this real quick. Any other notables that you want to discuss from UFC Vegas 25?
Yeah, I want to discuss first of all the Kutalaba and Jacob E. weigh-in. That needs to stop. They got to start finding these guys. Listen, there is. Remember when Burt?
And real quick, could you explain what happened for the people who don't know?
Kutalaba and Jacob E had their way, of course, the ceremonial weigh-ins. And Kutalaba is known for screaming in people's faces and a lot of other different antics. He's never physically touched anybody, but all of a sudden now he wanted to take that route, and he grabbed Justin Jacob E by the neck, kind of in a
cuffed
him by the neck. And that could have not made that fight not happen. We saw what happened to Drake R with the push, and then he was out
2 weeks earlier.
That fight 2 weeks earlier. This just happened, and for this to happen, especially Dana White knowing that Kutalaba is a guy who can get very, very close, didn't think he would hit him. He thought maybe he was just gonna scream, but he just put that arm up there and grabbed him. I hate that. It's the second time this has happened in the past 2 weeks. Of course, we've seen stuff happen in the past, but these guys need to get fined. You fight in a ring, in a cage for a reason, and that's where you make your money. You're not making money in a ceremonial way. You're making money when you get in there. Find these guys so we can see less of these things. I understand you want to have a really good weigh-in, but nobody needs to be touched for a good weigh-in. Nobody needs to be touched. It does nothing. It does absolutely nothing but it jeopardizes the money that you can make. Yeah. You want to make money together? Let's just do this, and we'll find out who's better in the cage the next day, tomorrow.
I couldn't agree more. It's stupid. It's stupid. It really is. These dudes are acting like they're not about to fight in a couple days, like the next day. 24 hours later, you've literally waited 8 to 12 weeks for most of you to a fight is coming up. You have it. You've waited this long. You're going to literally do what Jeremy Stevens did and shit the bed and piss that payday down your leg because you felt like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and get a viral moment or something. I'll be very honest with a lot of you dudes who are in the undercard. Dog, no one's... unless you're at this big pay-per-view, no one's paying attention to you. No one's going out here and watching the ceremonial weigh-ins for a UFC fight night. They're not. So why are you going to go out there and do this for a moment? Like, you're not intimidating your opponent. You're not getting in his head. He already wants to kick your ass. It makes zero sense. It makes no sense, and I couldn't agree more. Find these dudes and women that are doing this. If you go out there, you want to put your hands on them. Because here's the thing. It started off, the rule originally started in, it was because of boxing, and it was right after the Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis brawl, right? So historically what happens is that they had to put a promoter right there in the middle to kind of make certain that nothing happens, because before that, what ends up happening is that people get hurt, people get in trouble, and then fight, and then we lose. We all lose the bag. That's essentially what happened, and that is why that rule, why you see Dana White standing there, that's actually a legitimate rule. He has to be there, and that is why that rule essentially took place way back in the day. They know what it is. They know what they're doing, and straight up, just like if you miss weight, you get a fine, and you get like a portion taken off. Maybe it's not 20%. Maybe it's 5%. Maybe it's 5%. Maybe it's 10%. But it has to be something because here's the thing. What's better, right? Watching Somebody push and then they break it up with it, or this intense ass stare down where they're in their face. You feel the tension in the room, and we're just hype. Oh, I can't wait to see it. What makes more? Is it that, or is it you pushed them? Because when you push them, we don't even really get a stare down.
Yeah, and another thing too, I want to add on to there before we move on to the next things is they're giving 10-8 rounds too easy. Kutalaba, did he dominate Jacoby in that first round? Yeah, but there was no damage done. He was just controlling him in a sense of with the takedowns and stuff like that. They cannot just be giving these 10-8s away like it's nothing. And look what it turned out to be, a draw. Now we might have to see that fight one more time, which would be fine. But like 10-8s cannot be given as easily as they're throwing it out. I think Jacoby won that fight. He won the last 2 rounds.
He did win the last 2 rounds, and I think this kind of goes into the argument that Chatri was saying last week with one championship, right? Yeah. If we look at the fight in totality, somebody like Chatri and one championship should say, well, look what the Hulk did, right? Took him down. He obviously hurt him with his elbows. But the way I'm scoring fights is that I scored at the end of each round. This guy had more rounds than that guy. He should have won the fight. But I knew that they gave him a 10-8. And I think everyone kind of felt that they were going to give him a 10-8. And it was a very dominant round. Did he have him hurt at any point in time? No, he didn't. Those elbows look brutal. So I think a lot of people ended up giving him a 10-8 because of those elbows. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. I think, okay, let me say it like this. It was at a point where there weren't enough 10-8s at all. Right? You'd have to damn near kill somebody before they gave you a 10-8. That's why we need the universal rules of MMA. Everybody needs to have it. We need to understand what's going on so the judges know exactly what's happening. Because if we truly understand what's happening, then everybody will get a 10-8 round.
Agreed.
It's everywhere, and every state is different. So you go other places, but here's one thing. Vegas, you're not supposed to fuck that up.
They're the fight capital of the world. They should be no better than that, and to be more consistent with those rules, especially in this sport. They got to be better. I hated that. Absolutely. I really dislike that.
Really fast. Speaking of this past event, what were your thoughts? Anything else about Culebra?
No, that's it. Nothing else on that card. That there were some people had some good wins on there. There were some fun fights, but nothing crazy I want to shout out there. Yes, I do. There was a girl on that card that
I was just about to ask you. So I was about to go to Random Marcos and Luana Pinheiro. Okay, that was Luana Pinheiro's first fight in the UFC, and she's supposed to be an absolute killer. First round, 4 minutes, and she did look like so. 4 minutes 15 seconds the very first round. She ends up catching a Random Marcos with an up kick. It was right after Random Marcos. I'm sorry. Random Marcos caught her with an up kick, but right before that, she caught Random Marcos with an eye poke. So she poked Random Marcos in the eye. Random Marcos felt his way about it. Comes back in there, gets taken down, catches her with an up kick, bro. And the award goes to?
And the award goes to, you guys thought Aljamain Sterling was acting. This was a leading actress in a fight film. Right there. Winner. Boom, boom, boom. She gets that. My God. She oversold that so bad. She literally got up, looked, and then just put her head down. It was clearly there. Clearly there. Was that Random Marcos' mistake for throwing that up kick? 100%. But for her to oversell that and then to have to get carried out by her trainer, why wasn't she on a stretcher if it was that bad? Why was she on a stretcher? That's weird. I don't like that.
Watching her get carried out was so wild to see, like a baby getting carried out.
Let me ask you this: did she just get tired and it was just like, you know what? I'm exhausted, because she was throwing heavy strikes. She was throwing Random Marcos around with her judo.
She was beating Random. She was beating her ass.
Was she tired? Was this a cop out because she was exhausted? Or was she just trying to get an easy win? Because that was weird to me, man. And I kind of want to hear what her corner was saying.
Yeah, I do want to, and I guess I'm torn, right? Because I never want to throw a fighter under the bus. You always want to say, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I guess I went back and I kind of felt like Paul Felder, right? After Paul Felder was like, what the hell? And then he was like, okay. Like, the way she's acting, maybe she's really is hurt, right? And when you see it, and again, just like a car crash, so guys, I'm trying to really Trying to give her, you know, her props, right?
Yeah.
So she sat there and she took a foot to the face. So who knows? Just the same way that Jakar Close was pushed and he ended up getting a concussion from it, right? He was thrown up the next day and it didn't seem that bad. Maybe it was a similar situation. It was a foot to the face and it's that quick head tilt going back. So maybe because she was winning, and it's hard for me to sit there and want to say that somebody who is dominating a fight is going to do that, but it looks so bad.
Her head got up, and then I don't know.
I know. It's hard, dude. I'm trying, bro, but it's hard, bro.
That role so well. Like, that is very frustrating to see. And I'm just like, man, another one of these. Like, that is so unbelievable to me. And she was, like, on the floor, like, she couldn't get her head up. Come on, you are I don't know.
Here's the thing. If you can get punched, if you can get punched directly in the face hard, there's no reason why that kick should have taken you out of a fight. In my opinion.
Look at this. Let's just watch it.
Go ahead and write it.
One more time for the one more time. Hold on. Look at this.
Bing. Okay. She goes down. She did let.
Look at that. She's selling that. Look at her arms.
Run it back from the beginning. Let me see real quick. So for the people. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
There we go. So ding. Look,
it has some force to it. She was thinking about it.
Oh man, I'm sure
about it.
Look, I'm trying to give it. Okay, it does look suspect, but this is how you fix it. Run it back, beat her up again, actually finish her. If that does happen, this is all behind us. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's what she needs to do. So hopefully we get her back in there. But yeah, man, I think that Aljamain Sterling won the night in terms of Twitter. Yeah, it was like best supporting actor award goes to, like, I loved it. It was great. I loved everything about it. But anything else about this card? Yeah, she looked crazy on that one. Real quick, I do want to give a shout out just because we were talking about it. Merab Davashev looked great against Cody Stamann. Looked so good, and he is a legitimate problem. Look, all those boys up there in New Jersey have been saying it for a long time. He looks good, man. Georgia has been coming with it with him and Giga, and also Sean Strickland looked good.
Looking better and better every fight.
Every fight, he looks solid out there, man. So salute to him.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for Merab.
I am too. All right. So let's get into news. Let's go. Let's talk about, before we talk about Bellator, because there's a big Bellator card this weekend, and I want to talk about before we get up out of here. But fight news. Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards supposed to happen this upcoming weekend. It is now moved. They pushed it back a month. UFC 263 will end up still being a 5-rounder. It will be the co-main event of the Adesanya Vittori card. Bro, what's up?
The UFC didn't confirm that. That was just news reporters were confirming that it got moved, but there's no confirmation from the UFC. So don't be surprised if you see Leon Edwards have to take on Colby Covington. Just saying. Nate Diaz said he will not fight anybody else unless it's Leon Edwards. Understand that, but the UFC likes to move on with stuff like this, and they might move on Leon Edwards and Colby Covington because Leon's had too many mishaps with all these fights getting canceled. So
you feel bad for him because it's like none of them are his fault.
None of them. And Kamaru Usman said that he's not fighting Colby Covington. He does not deserve it. So Colby's got to fight somebody, right?
Hey, and let's be honest. I'll be very honest with you. Colby doesn't deserve it.
Only one fight.
He doesn't. Not only did he only win one fight, he beat a guy on a 4-fight losing streak. I'm not impressed. I am not impressed. And this is a fight that I think realistically it should have been the matchup in the first place. It should have been Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. So let's see what ends up happening. I can't wait because, damn, I feel bad for Leon Edwards, bro. Damn.
And Michael Chiesa, speak up. The champ is calling you out, and he has said nothing about this.
Well, he kept on after the fight. He did say he should be the dark horse of the weight class. He did say that, and he did say that in his UFC Roundup show that he ends up doing with Paul Felder. So he went out there afterwards and said, "Hey, I'm the guy." He was like, he went through the list and he said, you look at everything in it, you look at all the guys. He was like, aside from Leon Edwards, I have the next longest winning streak in the weight class with 4 fights. I've never lost in this weight class. And aside from Wonder Boy, you've beat everybody but me. So he is starting to chirp a little bit, but to me, he's the dark horse of the weight class. Not saying he's going to win, but he's the dark horse.
He's got to speak more. He got to speak up more.
Right.
Speak up, Michael Chiesa.
And he has a place. He has a platform to do so. He does.
Use that platform, and I would love to see the matchup too. Because,
but you know who he's been calling out though?
Who?
He's been calling out Kobe every single day. That's what he wants.
That might be another fight.
If Chiesa gets Kobe, that to me, because this is what they should do. Realistically, if they're gonna do it, we got to move on really quick. They should do Leon versus Usman, Kobe versus Chiesa. Do it on the same card.
I'd watch that. I love those matchups. I love those matchups.
Sean Shelby. This dynamic duo is here for you.
I just don't think there's any more. After that, I think Usman will be retired by 2022. Just saying.
I'm not mad at it. I hear you.
There's
all right.
Not that many other people he has to beat or needs to beat. So
seriously, he doesn't. He's cleaned it out. Unless he wants to pull Demetrius Johnson. Real fast before we talk about Bellator, because Bellator is phenomenal. John Jones, Francis Ngannou, Twitter beef. They've been going back and forth in the thing. We'll keep it quick with this one, but I gotta ask you this: with everything that has been going on with John Jones's his contract negotiations and everything, are you, with everything he's also saying on Twitter, are you starting to get the feeling that he maybe doesn't want this fight?
I think if he didn't want the fight, he wouldn't be talking about it. So I think he's getting some kind of motivation, and that's what's making him speak a lot, beg me, motivate me, all this stuff. He's doing it on purpose to kind of hype himself up for these fights, because remember, John Jones is always a guy to where he'd go in that cage and he could take a guy down, elbow them, and do whatever he wants. But he's like, you know what? I'm going to fight their style to see if I can beat them there, because he knows how good he can be. So I think he does want to fight.
Okay. Well, all right, we'll see what happens. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I'm leaning with you, but I don't know. All right, let's talk about this. Bellator 258 is this weekend. Unfortunately, Romero is out, so we will not see him versus Rumble Johnson, but we will see Rumble Johnson versus Augusto, who is pretty good. But headlining that card, we have Juan Archuleta versus Sergio Pettis. How did I almost get this nigga's name wrong and we have the same name? So, Sergio Pettis. So we have that one. Excitement and everything for this card that Bellator has coming up.
Oh, I'm very excited. I think this is a great card. I think the title fight is going to be amazing. Sergio's getting a title shot in a different organization, and he's a Pettis brother. So these guys can do different things in there. Archuleta is very, very well-rounded, fights with TJ Dillashaw, trains with him. He's got good guys with him. But the most that I'm excited to see, and you're going to be surprised by it? No, you're not going to be surprised. Just kidding. I want to see Rumble in there, man. I want to see Rumble knock somebody out. I want to see him viciously take somebody out. I'm excited to see Rumble Johnson get back in there and do what he does best, and to set that up for a very fun, exciting next round against the likes of Ryan Bader.
Straight up. Dude, I love it. And here's the thing.
No, Vadim Nemkov. Excuse me.
Nemkov. Yep.
Vadim.
So that's the thing. And I love that you said that. And like I said, that fight, because at the end of the day, if he got past Yoel, this would be the matchup anyways. So I'm not really mad at it. It would have been great to see it. And the cool thing about it is hopefully we end up getting that matchup later on this year. It could headline the card. It could really do the damn thing. I would love it. And real quick, man, give shout out to everybody who's watching us live. We got friends watching from Italy. Salute to y'all, man. Let's say Sarvish Wasid, man. I'm sorry I messed up your name, but I appreciate you listening and checking out the show. The Guru, B Cam, what it do? So I appreciate you guys for joining the show. All right, brother, we're coming to a close. Anything else we want to get into about this card?
Shout out to Rufion. Rufion Stats is on that card. I know you've had him
Stats, my guy.
On your show. MVP, of course, excited to see him come back. He's always an exciting fighter. I think he has a pretty good fight in who he's fighting.
He does. Derek Anderson. He's fighting Derek Anderson.
That's going to be a really good matchup. It's going to be a great card.
We got Patricky Pitbull.
And Patricky Pitbull, the brother of Patricio, fighting against Peter Quelly, coming out of SGB over there in Ireland. He's been on a good streak. That's going to be
And they got beef.
And they got beef. So that's going to be fun to see all those cards all together. But we got fun fights this weekend. PFL, of course, Verdum's coming back. Kayla Harrison's on a card. We got Muhammad Usman's on a card as well. We got a lot of good fights Thursday and Friday, guys. Does the UFC have anything this Saturday? I think they're taking a Saturday off. No, yes, they do.
They Saturday off.
But we don't know. There's a card.
They do.
But
they have real quick. I'm sorry. It's Michelle Watterson.
Yeah, we don't even know if that's the main event. They haven't confirmed. They still haven't confirmed that. So there's a card on Saturday too. A lot of good fights on there as well.
Well, there it is, man. Well, check it out. Thank you guys for joining us today. This is another episode of the Dynamic Duo, Brothers in Combat. This is not your average MMA podcast. This is Serg Vicente from the Fight Podcast. Next to me is my brother from another, Darnell Giovanni from Mystic Black. Love you guys. Darnell, what you got to say to the people?
Hey, appreciate you guys for watching, of course. We'll be back next week. More fight news, more fight talk. We always here. We love you guys.